Devican here with another question from your Hayes and Harris Math SL textbook. This is chapter 3E.2, questions 5D and E. Again, we're simplifying fractions. So again, we're looking for things which are common on the top and bottom. I see that I have a 3x and a 3x, so I might try and cancel them, but these two terms are separated by addition and subtraction. So whatever I do to the one term, I have to do to the other term, which means I need to find a 3 to the x and 12 to the x. And fortunately, there is one, because 12 is 4 times 3. And using index laws, I can bring that x into the 4 and the 3. That gives me 4 to the x, 3 to the x, take 3 to the x, divided by 3 to the x. Now every term has a 3 to the x. Now I can cancel by dividing 3 to the x into both terms. 3 to the x divided by 3 to the x is 1, and 4 to the x times 1 is 4 to the x. 3 to the x divided by 3 to the x is also 1, though, so I have a take 1. Can't forget about that. These two cancel, and they leave an implied 1, which you can just ignore. These two cancel, and also leave a 1, but you can't imply it. You need to write it out, because 4 to the x is not the same thing as 4 to the x take 1. I might try and do something similar over here, but you'll notice that in the denominator I have this plus. 1 plus 2 to the n. That's going to make things more difficult. That means that I need to find this whole term, 1 plus 2 to the n, in the top. My first thought was to look for 2 to the n, because 6 divides by 2 and 12 divides by 2. But I think there's a better way. I'm going to look for 6 and 12, because 2 times 6 is 12. Distributing the n in, I get 2 to the n, 6 to the n, on 1 plus 2 to the n. And now I have a common term here, 6, which I can factorize out. I'm always factorizing in, but now let's factorize out. That gives me 6 to the n times, watch this, take away 6 to the n from 6 to the n, that leaves 1. Take away 6 to the n from 2 to the n, 6 to the n, that leaves 2 to the n, on 1 plus 2 to the n. I have the same thing here and here. When you divide one by the other, they cancel out, they leave 1. 1 times 6 to the n is 6 to the n.